Yo, what is going on, gamers? It is your boy Chris here, aka ChrisThatGamer. Today, guys, I'm bringing you another episode of Black Ops 3 Versus series. Here today, we're going to be versing off the MR6 versus the RK5. Now, guys, Black Ops 3 is pretty interesting in the pistols range, just because of the fact that back in Black Ops 2, your pistols were your primary, and this year, we've kind of gotten the same feel with the pistols, especially if you're playing competitive Call of Duty. You definitely want to be using the best pistol that you could possibly be using. Now, in the beginning of the game, the LK5 hands down was one of the best pistols in the game. I could have basically said that was probably one of the best submachine guns in the game because that pistol literally did it all. But that gun has definitely been nerfed a lot to where it's literally a terrible weapon, just like the Vesper. Has way too much recoil now, and it's just overall not viable. Now, the other two pistols that we were looking at that are possibly the best is the MR6 versus the RK5. Now, the MR6 has gotten a really huge nerf onto it. A couple days ago, Treyarch has nerfed this weapon in their recent hotfix. Now, what they have done with this weapon, they have basically made the fire rate on the MR6 a lot slower now, just because of the fact that people were abusing this weapon by using modded controllers. This is basically the first time that I've ever seen modded controllers come back into the Call of Duty scene, especially into the competitive Call of Duty scene, because I've been seeing tons of people use the MR6 and this thing literally shoots like a submachine gun because these people are using modded controllers. Now, the thing that people enjoyed about the MR6 before the nerf is that you could basically shoot this weapon as fast as your trigger finger allowed you. Players like Nagafin was able to shoot this thing so quickly that it looked like he was using a modded controller, but in fact he just has a really fast trigger finger. Now, for me, on the other hand, my trigger finger just was never that good, which is why I would always pick the RK5 over the MR6. Now, with this new nerf that has been added onto the MR6, you could still shoot this weapon pretty fast. It's just not as fast as it used to be. Basically, if you guys are thinking back to Black Ops 2, when they basically nerfed the FAL because it was shooting way too fast, they put a cap onto it to where there is now a small second to where the gun will not shoot its next bullet, just because of the fact that they don't want you shooting this gun like it's a submachine gun. And that's basically what they did to the RK5. They've basically made it to where this thing is supposed to stay a semi-automatic weapon and not shooting its bullets like it's a submachine gun or like it's a automatic weapon. Now, that is something that definitely does suck, just because of the fact that you cannot shoot this MR6 a lot quicker, which is why I think that it is not good anymore. But now, if we're looking towards the RK5, I feel that the RK5 definitely does beat the MR6, just because of the fact that it's a burst weapon. Every single burst weapon in Call of Duty has always been favorable, just because of the fact that you could get these important joke kills when you really shouldn't be getting them. I've been playing with the RK5 basically ever since the LK5 got nerfed here in Black Ops 3, and let me tell you guys that this RK5 definitely does put in some work, especially when you're playing competitive Call of Duty. You have that MA as your primary weapon, and you have this pistol, this RK5, as your secondary weapon. It puts in work, just because of the fact that most of the time you are going to get joke kills with this weapon, especially if you're on host. You're gonna get some crazy one versus with this weapon when you really shouldn't be doing this to your opponent because they're full health. That's just how Call of Duty Online is, because of the fact that it's a burst weapon, and for some reason it melts your opponents very, very quickly. Overall, I think the RK5 is a very amazing weapon, and I would definitely choose this over the MR6 any day. I would imagine now that the MR6 has been nerfed, UMG is gonna basically unban this weapon from UMG wagers and tournaments, because they basically banned it because of that reason, that people were abusing it and using modded controllers into their ladders and tournaments and basically winning a whole bunch of tournaments because they had modded controllers. So I'd imagine that that's going to be unbanned very, very quickly. And I think the MR6 is still a great weapon, especially if you have a really fast trigger finger. I just feel that for me, the RK5 is a lot better. It's a lot reliable, just because of the fact that you can get these insane burst kills, but it's not going to happen all the time. You're definitely going to be putting 2 to 3 bursts into somebody just to get that kill, but it's a burst pistol. It's always going to be good. So I feel that I will always continue using the RK5. I think I'm going to go ahead and say the RK5 is a lot better. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Hopefully you guys did enjoy another episode of Black Ops 3 Versus series. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.